Hello and welcome to Dario's Comic School, and today we will talk about Berserk, this one from Kentaro Miura, and these are just here for comparison for the size. I'm reading Berserk Max in, it's in German, and I have Fist of the North Star here because these two share a DNA, and this was just for size comparison. This is regular US comic format and kinda A4-ish, a bit smaller, and this is A5, A6, something like this. But we'll come to the comic in a second. I put this one away. We will talk about Mike Mignola in depth at a different time. This will be the artist spotlight and kind of comic review, because as you can see, for my comic school, I'm reaching for 1K subscribers, 4K viewing time, and as as a comic school, we need to kind of have certain things like comic reviews. This is for understanding, like when I was in movie school, we watched movies and TV shows and analyzed them. This is what this is about. Then there will be artist spotlight. We were taking a look at certain directors, actors, writing processes and all of that. And yeah, this is what the artist spotlight. Then writing class, I have a video upcoming for writing and anatomy and painting. Like, these are the 5 big things, but then we'll also take a certain points at finances, marketing, shipping, and everything else. Today we'll look at Kentaro Miura. Today no shaky cam. Well, I kind of love to hold the camera in my hand, but today we'll try holding the Berserk in my hand. Okay. Yeah. I have also here my notes for this video. As you can see, I was practicing anatomy, drawing, but we have here the key point. Yeah. So let me get into this. Let me show you Berserk Max. This is what I got. This is for 10 euros. You can buy this. I had a whole collection of this, 400 pages, and I didn't know about Berserk. My cousin introduced me to it, and let's just look into the comic. Let's start with this. I have here a stopwatch. I wanted to keep this videos at a 10-minute mark. If I can, I will, but I don't know if 10 minutes will do Berserk any justice. So let's take a look in this. And again, this is I will go into Kentaro Miura, the writer-artist, a bit of his backstory, a bit of the artwork, the story, and where this goes. As you can see, I have my notes, and I have even a bit more of this. So let's start the comic. It's a manga. It's right from right to left, and from back to front. If you start from the other side, it says Achtung! Dieser Comic wird wie im Original gelesen, von rechts nach links. So, you know, this is a manga. So we start from this side. And it's really interesting from the get-go. So let's take a look. Man, I really love to hold my camera in my hands, but I guess this arrangement is better if I want to reach the 1K subscribers. And yeah, again, link down below if you want to support me on Patreon, doing these videos, doing the comic school, or if you want to commission me or something like that. I will get a bit more professional. Just bear with me. We're at the start of this journey. So, first page, this is what we see. it's a man and he's making love to a woman. I hope the quality is good. And so this is our reading direction, beautiful drawings. From the get-go, the art is great. And I will talk a bit about Kentaro Miura and his art and when he started. And then she says deeper, deeper, and she's transforming herself into a strange being. Keep in mind, this is page 1. Let's say page 2 and 3, a splash page. This guy, our hero, confronted with some crazy horror figure, big hands and claws. We see our hero has somehow a mechanical arm, and they're by the campfire. Let's call this page 2 and 3. And then she says, now I have you. In your finest hours, I sent you into hell. Like, at least something like that in German. In your heavenly moment. And then he's not scared. He grabs her face and he puts or shoves his fist into her mouth. No pun intended, I guess. And then he says, no man, I got you. And then he cluck. Somehow, we don't know what happens. But then we see the wind blowing through the woods. He packs up, and that's a great panel because he's sweating and she's burning in the campfire, and he walks away. So the first 3 pages, you already know what's up. It's demons. It's him hunting demons, at least that's what's implied. He being well equipped to take out these creatures. And then I like the sweat because it means he's human. Like he feels fear, or you know what I mean. It's a close call, and that's always great. We will see that in a second in this comic, that the humanity is great stuff. So I show you a bit around, and then I take you through the points. So we see a beautiful landscape, our hero entering this medieval town, very small panels, but yeah. I guess if you can go for a bigger sized version than this, do that. It's definitely, how do you say, a bit more enjoyable. When I was reading this the first time, I guess 10 or even a bit more years ago, 10 plus years, I really didn't mind. I don't mind right now, but as the years go on, it's not, I'm blessed with great eyes and great hands, I have to say, but it's just for your reading pleasure. Bigger pictures are a bit more beautiful. So our hero enters this medieval town, and knights passing by. We see peasants on the ground, and then we see this cart, and children, women and children in it. So the vulnerable, or how you say it. And then our hero sees this, and already we get, I have to say, this is a pretty classic Western vibe we're getting here. Sure, also fantasy, but in a Western. A stranger comes to town. So we have here a tavern, as you can see, and in that tavern somebody throws a knife, and despicable man brutes throwing knives at a small elf they have captured. So we're introduced to fantasy elements, to brutes taking advantage of the weak. Pretty sorry for all the ooms and ahs, but I'm thinking about this is already like a genre. themes. You have like weak being bullied by this. I don't want to say the strong, but being bullied by something evil. This is the theme right here, and that's good. It already knows what it is. And the townsfolk, they want to intervene, but they say not even the kings or I don't know who, not even the rulers' men intervene with this gang. And so again here the Western vibe. A stranger comes to town. There is a ruler, but he's weak. There are bullies or gangster. You know what I mean? Holding their hand in a grip. And then in German, it's pretty cool. He says, "Pass auf, ich versau dir jetzt den Laden," which means like he drops him a coin of gold and he says, "Dude, I'm gonna mess up your bar. Sorry for that." And then like the tavern owner already like, what the hell is going on? Sorry, can't zoom in because like, let's see. Well, that must be enough because my stand is like, and then he grabs his, well, let's call this a gun or a crossbow or a hand crossbow, and the elf is going to try to get free, and the bully will try again with his knives, throwing knives, and then without a warning, thump, he gets an arrow through his head. He pretty much dies right away. His men are surprised and they don't know what they're dealing with, and this guy already grabs his sword, and I guess it's too late. Like our strange hero just goes to town and wipes out the bad guys. Very satisfying, very violent, definitely. And this guy wants to take him on, and I have to say, like our hero like shows no mercy, doesn't even warn them, just attacks them, just kills them, and we get a great panel, a great view, beautifully drawn, and I have to say, as this series continues, the drawings will only get better. So Kentaro Miura already started really good. I would almost say great. And as the comics go on, his drawings just become better and better. Like this is almost his most simple style, and him at his humble beginnings. And so everybody's watching, everybody knows what's coming next, and then the protagonist recharges or reloads his hand crossbow, and puts an arrow through the nose of the bad guy. Let's call this a henchman. And look at this, like no mercy, just grabs the crossbow and tells the guy, "Tell your people I'm in town, or the Black Knight is in town, and I'm here for the head of your boss." Like pretty much this is what he's saying. And do I need to explain more? Like the pictures speak for themselves, and we're getting great. He says he's the Black Knight, and this guy says the Black Knight, and people, the elf, which will be revealed to be named Puck. I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. Please comment down below. I am not sure if it's a girl or a guy. And then Guts senses somebody behind him, and he pulls out this massive sword. I mean, look at this sword. Doesn't even fit on screen. Look at this. Boom. Conan the Barbarian style. And then we see like his dark silhouette, like this guy doesn't mess around, and we get another splash page. This guy wants to ambush him from behind, and he gets sliced in two by a giant sword. And we will talk a bit about the violence and what happens in this comic, but bear with me. like I don't find the violence overboarding. I think it grounds the comic in a very violent reality and in a world where I guess everybody's kinda, it's survival of the fittest. And we will take a look at the DNA of the North Star and recognize that, yeah, we'll go into that in a second. So first the fun part. So this guy lands here. I don't know if I want to show you everything, but yeah, like everybody's looking at his sword, and then we get another great panel. I hope this shows on camera. Like really cool stuff, like really cool drawings. The story is good. I have to say, in the beginning, like this issue number 1, it's very simplistic. It's bare bones, and as the story goes on, Kentaro Miura's drawings and his story and also his dialogue skills get much more sophisticated. So at the beginning, it's very simple, which is good. It gets us definitely into the world. Like the elf sticks now with the guy because she says, I'm bound to you. And also we have this grim, dark world. And now we have this elf. And it's a cool mix, I have to say. And these are not stock characters. I mean, Berserk is definitely a comic book with a great story and great characters. So we find out that the hero is called Guts, and he gets thrown into prison by the people of this town, and he gets, as you can see, tortured. And I don't know if this is the end of number 1, but I don't think, like, we're in the middle. And well, he gets tortured, and this guy, the torture master, says, "Oh man, this guy is hard to torture. I don't know, never seen a man like this." And yeah, Guts just spits in his face as a response, and he wants to whip him, and then the how do you say, the king or the ruler of the city shows up, and he's an old guy, and he says, do you know what kind of trouble you have caused us with all your arsenal? I mean, this kind of reminds me very much of For a Fistful of Dollars, like Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone, For a Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Like, if you have not seen this trilogy, go watch it. It's like really life-changing. And then The Man with the Harmonica, like Sergio Leone Western. And I feel this in this book, like A Stranger Comes to Town. And also when we look at the DNA, we will know in a second. So, yeah. This guy Guts, pretty much like the town's, how do you say, the ruler of the town or the kingdom. He explained that they're bullied by something that isn't human, and Guts says, "Yeah, you're sold out. You're weak. I'm here to catch this guy." And yeah, like this guy, you see like some demonic entity, and they bribing him so they can stay alive, and he's afraid. And Guts has no mercy for that, because like how can you make a deal with the devil? And so he's kind of not cooperating, and these guys are afraid because they know that his actions will have consequences for them. And yeah, it hurts the elderly guy, and he gets tortured. And so the town's elder goes to the castle of the big bad and tries to apologize, tries to make amends for everything that has gone wrong. But this evil ruler doesn't want anything. Like he's kind of eating the women and children of the town. And yeah, you can see, like, I don't want to explain the whole comic. We're already at 20 minutes. I don't want to say let's wrap this up, but I don't want you to, as you can see, pretty evil guy. And so he says, your town is done. I don't take any apologies. I have a taste for burning flesh. And so he goes to town with his people, and we see Guts lying in this thing, having visions of a demon or something like that. And we don't know yet what it is. And I have to say, this comic has a really big arc. Like, it plans really good stuff. Like, at the beginning you think everything's random, but Kentaro Miura has laid out a very large arc. After this first 400 pages, where this will be very climatic, like it will start here at the beginning, and then it will climb up to the big bad, and then after the big bad is almost or kind of defeated, we will go into Guts' childhood and learn how he was born as an orphan and try to survive. Like, that's almost like, I guess, another volume like this. And then we return to where the story here ended off, and it's really an epic. Like, it's an epic in the likes of Lord of the Rings, or, you know what I mean? Like, this is, like, imagine this, and then 20 more of this in a really epic tale, and it's very memorable. And I will go into a second into what all that means. Let me skip a few pages because I don't want to show you everything, but he kind of faces off with this guy, and he faces off with him, and he can manage to wound him, and then something happens. That guy, that evil guy, transforms into something more evil, bigger, which is called then apostles here. And they are very strong in their human form, but when the human form is threatened, they change and they become something different. And Guts, this guy, is hardcore. He's out for blood, but this is what he has to face, like humans transforming into demons. And even the other humans, like, are, what the hell, what is this? Like, even the people who followed him, they didn't know that he was capable of stuff like this. And so this demon form guy kind of pounds the living hell out of Guts. And this is what I like, because, like, our hero feels pain. He's able to suffer injuries. He's not someone who just wins. Like, he's defeated here. Here's on his face, bleeding out. And then this demonic guy grabs Guts, and it's almost done. And then Guts pulls again. As you can see, in the beginning it was planted, and it was seeded, and here's again then the plant. He has like something like a hand cannon, and he puts it in the face of this guy, and he pulls the trigger somehow, and bam, this guy explodes. Very satisfying seeing the good old big bad go down in flames, burn. Guts grabs his sword, his massive sword, and another splash page, and finishes this guy off. As you can see, Guts' strength is somehow, there's some madness in him, something that wants these guys to see them dead. He's definitely determined. And this apostle then turns back. No, he doesn't turn back into his human form. He just stays like mutilated, but he can't die. And Guts kind of puts pain on him, and then this I haven't shown. Like, Guts has a sign on his neck, And when evil shows up, this starts to bleed. And the apostle recognizes that he has this sign, and it says Brandmal für das Feueropfer, like he's somebody who should have been sacrificed or was sacrificed to the evil. And later in the story, we will learn to know that apostles, like this monster, are normal human beings, but through a stone, through their evil deeds, they get a chance to become demonic. They get a very strong form, very much power. They get very powerful, and they lose all their humanity, but they have to sacrifice somebody they love or a lot of people they love. So this could sound very cheesy, but as the story goes on, we'll find that this is like a story about the survival of the fittest. And it always shows us that power or quick power or sacrificing other people for your own cause, like in an evil way, comes with a cost. And it is a deep story. I almost can't go on into more, but innocent people die, guts prevails, a lot of hacking, slashing, but also great stories. We will see how people turn to the evil side and how it costs their humanity, why they turn to the evil side. And I have to say, this is a very good book. It is written very well, and also the psychology of like these times, like this is like how do you say, the dark ages. And so people are very desperate and they turn to evil. And here they have also the capacity to turn to an evil that transforms humans into demons. Again, this goes on for a very, very long time. And I have to say, it's a great book. And there are some very memorable stories. I like one very much where most of the apostles are just scumbags turned into demons. But there is one story of a child that becomes a demon and becomes an apostle, and that is very heartbreaking, heartwarming. We will encounter something like a fellowship later, 2 fellowships, and a lot of sacrifices, a lot of blood, a lot of power-hungry battles, and yeah, an epic tale. Let me, to conclude this, like, number one, the point number one was that this is a bit small. Number two, I didn't know that I was already knee deep in the analysis, but the first 3 pages you already know what the manga is about. If you're drawing comics, if you're making comics, if you can kind of convey what the story is about in the first few pages, I guess you've already won. Not just for the audience or the reader, but also for yourself. You know what the story is about. And I have to say, probably this comic is also like a power fantasy. Like you struggle against the world out there you don't understand. The honest people do not always win. Sometimes the people who don't have any morals go and win or go ahead. And the DNA of this is definitely like something like Franz Kafka, striving for power. Fist of the North Star. It's almost like not the same, but like it's a lone hero who has power, who was brutalized, but then he wants to be there for the weak, or he wants to avenge something. And as you can see here, it's like this hero, Fist of the North Star, and as you can see, the apostles here are sometimes mutants, and they have their war bands, and he takes them out one by one while killing towards the big bad. And that's the same DNA. And yeah, God sweats. It's a good. The good thing I like. I was viewing a movie called Fury the past few days with Brad Pitt, and they definitely every fight is a hard fight, but the last fight, like they died, they got scratches, but they faced off against a very intelligent opponent, and I didn't see that in the movie. I didn't see that in the picture in the final scenes. I would have wished that our hero needs to become much more resourceful, that stakes are high and stuff like that. Guts punishes the bully in the tavern. He's a protector of the innocent. I guess this is what I told you for a second ago. This is the power fantasy, protector of the innocent, somebody strong, somebody who takes on those who have power and who misuse this power. He's revenge, he's justice. Revenge is here, justice. We're rooting for him, I guess because we're waiting for a savior in our lives, or sympathize with people who bring revenge or justice. Number 5, spectacle. Don't miss that in your comics. It's very important to have spectacle. I mean, look at these covers, like, bam, you want it. Like, that's really important. It's, it is there through the drawings. You messed with the wrong mofo. Drawn beautifully. Mystery. You don't know what the big bad is about. You don't know the backstory of the good guy. So it introduces a problem, a world, but it has a lot of depth underneath that, and high stakes. Like the win doesn't come easy. It's not like Guts defeats those people in an instant. Like, he sweats, he knows, and through all the series, like, every battle, every win, every defeat will bring heartbreaks, and it nothing will be achieved like easy. And that's the beauty of this. Like, it's really you can feel the merit. Artwork and story is great. Yeah. And a quick thing to Kentaro Miura. He took a lot of, like, he liked Fist of the North Star, Violent Jack, another comic that was ongoing where I think it's Japanese or Chinese or Asian. It's a cat fighter with a huge giant sword, and it's story after story after story. So maybe he took his inspiration from there. And also, like, Hellraiser, the God Hand. It's like the thing Guts is behind is like 5 demonic entities, and he wants revenge. So, and he took some of that inspiration from Hellraiser and from Paul Verhoeven, and all of that stuff. And I have to say, Kentaro Miura started already as a teenager, so very gifted in a very early age. But don't like, I'm 37, I turn tomorrow 38, and look at this. Like, I mean, it's not the best, but everybody can learn to draw. Like, everybody can learn to read or drive a car. You know what I mean? So it's never too late to apply yourself to your dreams or to your stories you have in you. And when he was a teenager, and he was already doing a lot of shonen mangas, and then he went to art college. Already he started young. He went to art college, and then in 1988 he made his first version of Berserk, and then he kept going. And lifelong series of his, the Berserk, and then he died, I guess, at age 55 from a heart attack, or I was reading it, some fissure in your heart, something ruptured. And I can think that if you're working all your life on the desk with high stress and drawing all the time, that will put a stress to your body. So probably I will include in my comic school, also staying healthy, staying fit, yeah, working out, moving your body, and not just sitting all day at a desk. And well, he started young, he was gifted, he went to art college, and those are great things. But it's never too late to make your own stories, to learn to draw, to learn anatomy, all of that stuff. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm going to teach you. I'm sorry that this video is not a 10-minute video, it's a 35-minute video, but it needed its time. Sorry, maybe I'm not done yet with this comic series, but yeah, it needed to be mentioned, it needed to be made, and I wish you a great day. If you haven't read Berserk yet, and you are over, what's the age recommendation here? And you're over 16, you can read this. You should read this. You should give it at least a try. And again, it gets better and better and better, and it goes also deep into human psychology and power plays, and yeah, very dear to my heart. Saved my life when I was in school. See ya.